YouTube family, my name is Alicia English and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited today. We are working on a trash to treasure project to put in our mudroom transformation. This is the big reveal that you've been waiting for. Well, we've been transforming our mudroom from drab to just absolutely functional, beautiful space that we can use as an entryway in our house. We always use this room as a catch-all, and I'm so excited to say that after today, this room is a purposeful, useful space in our home. We know that you guys love our trash to treasure videos, and I'm so excited that we're doing a trash to treasure during this video. A neighbor of mine was going to throw away a very nice table that just had some marks on the top that just weren't salvageable. And so I'm actually going to be transforming that full-size table into something to put into our small mudroom. If you enjoy trash to treasure videos, you want to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. So hit the subscribe button and head over to our trash to treasure playlist we have on our channel, where you can see dozens of other videos where we've done transformations using trash and turning them into beautiful home decor treasures. Being a subscriber also means you can be entered into our monthly giveaways. Like in only 4 more days, we're giving away one of my custom painting aprons that I sell on my Etsy shop. And our February giveaway is our second Silhouette Cameo 4. All you have to do is be a subscriber to be entered. I have been inspired by a lot of really beautiful Anthropologie inspired items that I'm seeing on their site. And their price points are really high. And so there was an item that I really wanted to have for a light fixture for our mudroom transformation, but I just really couldn't afford the $300 plus American dollars it would cost me to be able to purchase this light. So I took it upon myself to create a DIY and try to recreate the very same thing for my space. So I headed to the thrift store to see what I could find. So I came here looking for a lampshade that was in a really cylinder shape. I couldn't have any dimension or shape to it. I just needed it to be sort of even shaped all the way around for the idea that I have for the light fixture. So unfortunately they didn't have any, so I have to go look for an alternative. Oh, nesting boxes. This idea might work since I couldn't find the lampshade that I wanted to do. So I'm gonna check out these boxes because I might be able to make them work. I just have to decide if I want the smaller version or this larger version. Kind of like the bigger one because I feel like it's more impactful, right?
I like the bigger one.
Bigger one?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
I had so many of these when I was a kid. We came home from the thrift store with a 1980s hat box. I actually owned several of those as a kid, so it killed me to have to pay money for something that I thought I definitely had laying around for years and we would have got rid of a long time ago. But I came home with a hat box with the intention of changing this into the light fixture that I was looking at for Anthropologie. And so on my live last night, you can watch that video on my channel, I was starting to transform this hat box into this beautiful light fixture. I got about halfway done and I showed you how I created that during that live video if you want to catch it. But I want to show you now the reveal on what it looked like, and I'm so excited. So we're going to show you the inspiration picture from the light from Anthropologie and now show you what my light turned out to look like. All right, so this is my light fixture. And I think it's all kinds of amazing texture goodness, and I'm so excited. And the total cost for this was under $5. I was able to use 2.5 rolls of jute. So whoever guessed 2.5 rolls of jute it would take to go all the way around the shade, you were right. And I used a bunch of upcycled yarn that was donated to my art room several months back. I've been looking for ways to utilize that yarn and upcycle it. So I created 77 tassels and was able to string them onto the bottom. And so now I have this gorgeous light fixture to be able to hang in my space, and I just love it. Let me know in the comments section what you think of this light. In the mudroom space, I'm also needed a storage area for my boys' coats, hats, mitts, and boots, and so I created a locker out of an old bookshelf. I'll put the card above for that video for you. But it's been sitting in that space all week, and the boys are loving utilizing this space. And so it's perfect. The only thing I needed to make sure that I also added to the mudroom was a spot to sit down to put on your boots and shoes. And so I wanted to see if I could make a seating bench to fit underneath our window. So knowing that I had this table that was headed to the trash from the neighbor, I wanted to transform it into a bench. Let's get creating. The table that I'm going to be transforming into a bench is about 4 feet long, and I lucked out because after measuring underneath the window space, it's going to fit perfectly without having to cut down the length. My problem is it's way too wide, and so I'm going to turn this into a narrower bench and then be able to cut the legs down Since they're a really nice shape, I'm just gonna cut them down to be able to make this bench not as tall as a kitchen table. I'm going to go and measure in my mudroom and see exactly how tall I need to make the seated bench so that I can cut this down to size. Because my wall sticks out in one area, I need the bench to sit inset at that window so it doesn't block the doorway or the walkway in the mudroom. So I need it to be no deeper than 14 inches, and I want to make the height about 22 inches. That way the kids can still sit at it, and so can we. Now that I have my table cut to my bench width, I need to have these corner brackets to be able to put it on the other side, to be able to have a crossbar at the back, and then be able to have the easy access to putting the hardware back on for my legs when I cut them to size. So I'm going to take them off the side panels here so that I can use them on the other side. Left-handed unscrewdriver.
That's some dexterity.
Now that my table is cut to the width that I want my bench to be, I have the sidebar from the other side of the table, and I need to now put this onto the bench part that I'm making. It has these little corner brackets on it, and there's this tiny little L at the bottom here, and so I need to be able to put that into the side panels underneath. So I need to be able to cut a groove down where it is. So I've measured where I know I need my groove to be just here, this second line. So I've marked that with my pencil, and I'm going to show you on my table saw how I'm going to cut this little groove over here for this bracket to go on. I also need to remove a section of this sidebar. Otherwise, I won't be able to attach my leg, I'll show you, where it needs to go on the table in the same way that it is on here. So on the original side that I didn't cut, it sits indent, and so the wood doesn't go all the way to the end. Now it does because I've cut my table. So I need to be able to fit this essentially right in there. So I have made a mark where I'm going to cut off this side. So I'm going to remove this sidebar, use my table saw, make a little slit, and cut this a little bit shorter. And then we can cut our table edge shorter and put it back together. So I need to be able to make another one of these little notches out of the wood for my hardware to fit into. And so I'm going to use the first one that I already have as a guide to know how deep it needs to be. And I can see from my blade that it's actually the right width for how wide I need to make it on my spot that I've marked here. And so what I'm going to do is adjust my blade so that it fits here, and so that my piece of wood will lay flush with my table bottom here. Just gonna lower it a little bit. And I can see that there I am just as deep, and it's all set up. So I'm going to lock that into place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my sidebar here is the exact distance away, running through where I've made my line. And so I think I need to move it just a smidge to the right. And then it's going to be all set up for me. And I'm going to turn it over and be able to run, keeping my hands away from the blade, and push all the way through while it's going, and it's going to put the notch where I want it. And there I've made a matching notch like my first one. Now I need to cut this a little bit shorter, so I'm going to raise my blade up so I can actually cut all the way through the line that I marked so that the leg will fit on the side of my bench. Now that we have all of our cut pieces and we have our new grooves that we used with our table saw, which I think is easy and super fast to be able to create a spot for our hardware to go, we're going to try and put it back together and make sure that I did all my cuts right. That was the existing groove in there. Yay! All right. Side one, side two. Perfect. And I'm gonna put all the original hardware back in. Who forgot to charge the drill? Probably me. I can't wait to see what it's gonna look like when I stain it at the top.
Yeah, like what the stain will look like on this wood.
Yeah, because pine usually takes stain really well, so I'm excited to see what my stain looks like. Because I want it to complement the locker that's in there, because the locker seemingly has taken the stage in that room, even though I didn't plan for it to be a focal point. So now I think doing this bench, it will really complement it if I do the stain top, because I did that little faux stain seat in the locker. So that's the plan. This next stage is for me to downsize the height of my legs, because no one can sit on a bench that's almost 3 feet tall. And so I used YouTube to just see how tall I needed to make this. And the average size bench I could find was about 18 inches. So my 22 that I planned was way too tall. So So I'm going to cut these down so that my height is 18 inches, but I don't want to just cut my legs to 18 inches because I have the top of my bench to account for. So I'm going to measure from the bottom up 18 inches and then leave a mark. And I'm going to use my miter saw to cut them down to size. We're gonna get this sanded up. I'm gonna start with a really rough grit first and work my way to a softer grit before I apply my stain. Now that I have sanded the whole top of this, I'm going to apply my favorite stain. I have just enough stain left, I think, to do the top of my favorite provincial stain by Minwax, and then I'm gonna paint the bottom white. I'm using one of my Alicia English brushes, which has been well loved today for my projects, and I'm going to paint the bottom of my bench white. I'm so excited with the way the mudroom turned out. I think it's much more welcoming now when you come in the door, and it's definitely a lot more functional. I'm really happy with the way that all of the projects turned out for this space. I think it looks so much more homey, and I can't wait to actually utilize this space. We come in on our driveway, and so this really is a room that we haven't been utilizing to its potential. We now have storage for hats, mitts, and coats, a place for both kids and adult jackets and stuff to hang, and then we also have some pretty decorations in here that just makes it look so much more homey. I really focused on adding some textures like jute rugs, our tassel-y light with the jute on it, textured pillows, and just really thinking about warmth in this space. I know that white is not ideal for a mudroom, but we were able to create a pretty white, bright space for this small entry, just utilizing a little extra white paint and some upcycled projects. Changing that table, the full-size kitchen table, to make a bench for this small entryway just was a really big impact, because now we have a spot to sit down at to put our shoes. And the kids are gonna think that's great, because in the mornings they love to sit on something in the mudroom and get their stuff on for school. I still have a few things to do in this space to be able to finish it up, but there is no heat in this room, and so I can't add any of my live plants until our winter is over, and I also need to be able to fill in these outlets that I left from some old plumbing that used to be in here before we owned the house. My putty wouldn't dry in this space because it's too cold right now, so in a few weeks I'll be able to finish up my stenciling and make those walls look seamless. I hope you enjoyed this transformation of our mudroom space. This was a completely empty room, and over the course of a few videos, we've done some DIYs to be able to fill up this space. I wanted to add some furniture to this room without taking up any floor space, since it's not a gigantic entry, and I think that we accomplished that, having so much function with just really a little amount of things. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're not part of our YouTube family yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for everyone's support. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.